Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay.
So I was thinking the first question can be, what is meta health?
Okay. So the answer that I would give is all of us know about diseases, illnesses, and invariably, when you're in pain, you're in discomfort, that is when you say you go to the doctor. And go to the doctor and you say, I'm not fine. So you tell the doctor you're not fine. You tell him, I have a pain here. You do the diagnosis and tell him what that pain is about, which part of your body is injured. And then the doctor says, okay, I'll fix it. Right?
Yeah.
So, meta health is talking about levels much above this, which means what? What is above and below? It just means that we are having a different way of looking at things. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, please do.
We're giving a different way of looking at things. That means, how come despite exercise, despite eating good food, despite sleeping, we still had the best cricketer coming down with cancer?
Yeah.
Why is it that people, despite all the richness that they're living with, despite all the good things in their life, they still have depression? So, what's really happening there? So, meta health gives us a perspective above whatever so far you have looked at. So, meta health says that there is an event that happened in your life. Maybe it happened a year back. Maybe it happened 2 years back. Maybe it happened 10 days back. Maybe it happened 2 minutes back. But that event had a specific way of dealing with stuff, meaning that event when it happened, such an event had never happened in your life before. Meaning it changed your life. It changed your life in a way that you are not even equipped to think. It left you feeling as if you were a part of a drama. It left you isolated and you didn't know how to get out of it. So let's take examples here. COVID happened 7.5 months back. Nobody was expecting it. One day before that, you were dancing away to glory. One day later, government said no going out. Wear a mask. You go out, you're not okay. You can't touch your boyfriend. You can't touch this one, and you can't touch that one. That was completely an unexpected situation, which left people in a very dramatic situation, feeling isolated and not having a plan.
Yeah.
This is what meta health says will cause diseases. This recipe causes diseases. It's not the disease that is going to cause this recipe. And this recipe is what contributes stress. And then stress is the biggest contributor of a disease. So the meta health is much above just exercise, just food, just sleeping. And it's saying we're going back to the basics and understanding why now this person can't sleep anymore. Most of the people had a complaint that they couldn't sleep during COVID. Most of us were trying to find how to get out of it.
So true.
Yeah. So that's what meta health is about, to identify what happened in your life, which just changed your life. And today, if we go back, I don't think significantly many of us can really point out when it happened. So this is just that it's a pandemic. So everybody was halted in India at a certain date. But if you really look at it worldwide, there has been a paranoia, there's been fear, which is contributing factors to many other diseases that are going to happen. So it gives an overall view, a view above the ordinary. And for you to then understand what should you do in your life so that you can bring your body back into normal. I hope that is okay with you.
That was how can you ask me if it was okay? You're the expert. Like, that was brilliant.
You
Wow.
ask that, did you understand the explanation? Because the idea of doing this is that the person who doesn't understand the technicalities can get it.
Yeah. I saw a lot of your videos online today and I was like, wow. I was like intimidated. I was like, am I sure that I can sit in front of like really?
No, don't do that. Okay.
So I'm just asking you questions like really informally right now, like but tomorrow, like yeah. So how do you practice NES health and meta health in conjunction?
So NES is a different program altogether. It is making use of a device which is called My Health, with which we can actually scan the human body. So
Wow.
imagine I know that there's something going on with you, but I can't pinpoint because I'm not an intuit. I can't go inside your body. I can only
Yeah.
sit and look at the outer version of you. And let's say you got a wrinkle here. I know you're growing old. Let's say you got a cough, which means you're showing me a symptom. Then I can, oh, maybe it's a COVID. But I really can't sit down and look through your body because I don't have a vision like that. But Nest is an amazing technology. It helps me to do a scan of your body. And it gives me about 15 different windows, and I can show you the device tomorrow, and I can also show what the scan looks like. And so
Yeah.
what you actually can do is you can find out details like, are you eating well? Are the minerals in your body well? Where are the toxins in your body? Is it because there's a toxicity in food? Is it because there's toxicity in the environment? Is it that you have your mind is going crazy? And what really in your mind is going crazy? You can you can go right up to the chakras, which is very popular system, and a lot of people want to know about the chakras, which chakra is blocked and how do you open that, the meridians of our body, how do you look at that, and how do you know where what is going wrong. So basically it gives an overall profile of your body, which is so intensive and just at a touch. What's amazing about it, and really amazing about it, that you don't even have to be present to do the scan. We can do
Okay.
remote
Wow.
scan for you. That means if you have a device sitting with you somewhere, I have my motherboard and my device here. I just have to plug in. I don't even have to on my laptop. I have to give you access to my motherboard, and you sitting wherever can scan, and your scan will reach your email and my computer without me doing anything.
Oh my God. Okay.
Then look at the scan, and you can actually administer all the infoceuticals. Infoceutical was a name created from information. How do you say pharmaceutical? Now, pharma was chemicals. This is not chemical, this is information. So, infoceutical was a name created. It's a digital technology. If you've seen Star Trek, during my time, we used to have Star Trek, and they used to have this machine, and zzz, it's literally like you have a machine which goes zzz, and can fix your body, and you can have the medicine in the digital form. If you like calling it medicine, it's not, or in the digital form, which works on your skin, off skin, as well as off skin, on skin. Off skin means I can use the device. Let's say I'm sitting here, somebody's sitting about next to the wall right there, like let's say about 4 times my hand size, arm size. They're standing there, they can still indulge in the treatment sitting right there. They
Wow.
touch my body. I
Wow.
calm the animal down. I can do this for the animals, I can do this for the human being. For the animal, when we are doing, we can do it for the horse, for the cat, for the dog. Basically, these are cows. A lot of it is being used in Australia. There is a gentleman called Cyril Brook who have worked extensively with this, and I trained myself under him, as well as Rose Heyman. So it's
Wow.
brilliant what this technology is, and we've been able to get a little child had come to my house. I mean, I work from this place, right, from this room, and this little baby was 6 days old. Her
Oh.
legs were curved, and doctors had told her that she will never be able to walk. Her legs were like bent, and she had a rash around her genitals. I mean, it was so sad to see her crying. Every time she would cry, imagine your urea touching the blisters around the genitals, and poor kid would scream and howl. I remember Rose Heyman being in this house of mine, and we looked at the baby, and heart went down. She was a driver's baby, and so he couldn't really afford too much. Doctors had told him that she's not going to work. We did mother scan, father scan. When we did mother scan, we saw, so you can pick up emotions in the scan. You can pick up what the person is feeling. So it
Wow.
told us that the mother is angry. A 6-day-old baby is angry because we did our scan, and father is angry. So sat
Oh,
down and asked them, what's the anger about? And the story unraveled that when the baby was 6 months old, no, when the mother was pregnant 6 months, they have a ritual in Maharashtrian community in Mumbai where they speak Marathi, where so they celebrated at 6 months, where all the relatives come and they feed the mother sweetmeats. And she
okay.
picked up a mithai and put in her mouth, and the minute she put that mithai in her mouth, women sat there and said, oh, it's a girl, it's not a boy. I don't know how they do that, but they realized with what the mother was going to be eating that the child is going to be, the unborn child is a girl, not a boy. And the minute they mentioned, oh, uh, there's a girl, there's not a boy, there was a big hangama in the house. And what
Oh,
was the hangama about? The hangama was about, how do you put it? The hangama was truly about um, that they didn't
patriarchy.
want the girl. They didn't want the girl. So the
Patriarchy.
father-in-law ill-treated the girl, the lady, and said, abort the child, we don't want.
Oh God.
It's a her, it's not him. And this created a lot of anger in the mother, which got absorbed by the child. Husband started ill-treating her because he knew that's going to be a baby girl. Unfortunately, the child born was a baby girl, and she had blisters on her genitals because it was her attempt to clean up her genitals and create differently over there. She wanted to fade away herself as a girl. And we cleared this conflict in the mother. We cleared the conflict in the father. We worked on her legs, and she came back. So we worked like 4 or 5 days. We gave her inflammation medicine, a drop by drop, like how you would give a little bird, and she recovered fast. By 1.5 years of age, she was walking like any other normal child.
Wow.
Yes. And
Okay.
that really touched my heart because I don't know how many babies are born in this world who are not even needed inside the womb. And how do you know what the baby is thinking? How do you know what an old man who cannot talk is thinking? And so my
Yeah.
my interest went more into non-verbal um, modalities because I realized that people were giving you information from their mouth, but they were giving you information that they wanted to. What was the subconscious saying? If the therapist doesn't know that, how do you clean up the mess inside? So that's about mess and meta health together. I did do a lecture on this in Luxembourg and I presented the paper, which was very well appreciated. So it was great fun integrating two very strong modalities together. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my Wait 1 second. This is so inspiring. How are you like the first one who did that?
Yeah, I was the first one who did that.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Sorry. I'm so happy telling me this right now. Tomorrow I'd be like, sorry. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. So the next thing I was gonna ask you was how do you tap the conflicts at one's unconscious level?
That's an extremely interesting question. So when I first began my practice, it was uh, so it started. How do I put this question? Okay, so there are various different modalities that can be used to tap the subconscious. One of the most interesting way to tap the subconscious is make people do clay work, puppetry, sand play, or they can do um, drawings. Now, these are the things children played with. These are the things we played with as children. I'm sure you remember the time when you went to the beach and sat down and made just the castles. So lost to the whole world. And then the waves came and they just took away the castle. And again, you created it. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you know of the time when your grandmother or mother sat down and gave you stories, fairy tales, or other stuff. And I'm sure as a kid in a kindergarten, we sat down with plasticine making things from our from wherever. But little did we
Yeah.
know that those things that we created, those things that and the drawings that we did are nothing but our subconscious coming up. Our subconscious walks in on the paper. It walks in to create the shape of the clay, and it walks in to create fun in the sand. The sand by itself was not the castle. The castle was
Yeah.
created in the sand. The paper by itself was just a canvas. What you created there came out of your subconscious. And let me give you a story here. When I first began, like in 2009, was the first time I heard Bernie Siegel. He's a doctor, he's an oncologist, and he's written a lot of books. I didn't know how popular he was. I was just getting introduced to this whole new world, and I was attending this conference in Estonia. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
city. It's like a fairy tale. And I'm sitting in the middle of all these Estonians watching Bernie Siegel on the stage. He was speaking from US, and at that time to bring in Zoom and connect people on a big screen was a very big deal. He couldn't travel, but he had traveled practically like how we both are traveling right now. He was far ahead of his time. A
Yeah.
bald man sitting there and talking about drawings. And he spoke about one drawing after the other, one drawing after the other. And I just sat down like, I couldn't believe that there was something like that that existed. He was talking about his younger patients and older patients who had cancer and who were not well. And how does he know from the drawing whether people are going to live or die and they're giving up? Yeah, I was fascinated. And then there's a mentor of mine who's talking about lucia color and how to use that for the eyes. And so there's this whole world that's opening up. On one side, Dr. Kwesi talking about the eyes, which is vision, colors, and on the other side is Bernie Siegel talking about drawings. Now, little did I know that many years later I was going to pick these two. And that's what I'm doing right now, mixing lucia color test with the drawings. And what I
Yeah.
ask you to do is your self drawing. And by just
Okay.
what you drew there, it gives me an insight as to where you're in life.
Wow.
To a workshop with Kirti Bakshi in Mumbai, and then I somehow was able to integrate so many things together. She does landscapes, and I often wonder. I'm sure she's a khazana of knowledge, but I'm so grateful. Bernie Siegel, Kirti Bakshi, Dr. Kwesi, and then it's like, I went to a stall and I bought silk cloth, and then I went to the other place and bought the blocks, and I went to the third and bought the colors. And now what? I created something out of that silk with blocks and colors, and it just looks something very different. But I didn't know that I was standing at the gateway of a magical world of a child which we had never looked at. And it just opened up. I mean, the more I look into the drawings, the more I can see, oh my God, how did I not see this before? How did I not see this before? To give you an example, um, let me see if I have it right here. Let me show it to you. You'll be fascinated by it. Um, mm, just give me a minute, sweetie.
Yeah, sure, take your time.
Trying to see if I can show you a drawing that blew my mind away.
Wow.
Yeah.
I still don't get like how you made like something which was already like to someone it looked like, oh my god, complete things. You took it as resources and literally built something out of it. Like I'm not able to like it's too good.
Yes, let me put it like this. These things were always present. I mean, we have Dr. Kubler Ross, who is a grief specialist. She wrote books and books. She sat down with people. I can't find it. I'll find it for tomorrow and keep it. She
Oh,
sit with she spent her life sitting with people who were dying, and she wrote stages of death and
yeah.
grief. And Bernie Siegel had studied from her. And so, what he was giving, and that on that day,
Yeah.
was nothing but an amazing. It changed the way I looked at the world. Then we
How
have
that one.
clay work, puppets, sand, and in the sand, when I give you to do sand play, I give you a tray, I give you sand, I give you all those things that you would love to have, like little houses, chairs, puppets. Um, you can actually build a whole drama there.
Wow.
But what you build there has a meaning. If you didn't have sand, you could straight take those dolls
Yeah.
and you can ask people to work with dolls. So, like, I'm sure when you were younger, you would have sat down and played with your dolls and guriyas and chai cup and tea set. Who were we mimicking with the doctor set? Who were we mimicking when we were having those dolls? And what were we
Yeah.
mimicking? We were mimicking a house. We were giving clues to what was going on in our house
Yeah.
to ourselves. We were talking to ourselves.
So true.
So, um, let me see if I have at least one clipping of this somewhere. So I'll show these clippings. I'll show the puppet play, which children can talk about. I'll show a little bit
Yeah.
of a sand play if we have any. Now,
Okay. Would you be able to send me these? Because we'll be using StreamYard. So I don't know if you'll be able to share your screen.
I'll try sending you. That would be the best. So
Yeah,
I'll
perfect.
show you about two drawings. So then we can look at the drawing. This one was a very interesting drawing. So she had actually drawn in on the sheet of paper herself this small.
Mhm.
And how it happens that when we want to on another sheet of paper, she had drawn a waterfall. It was a
Okay.
landscape. But when she sent me the picture, the two pictures had overlapped. And when two pictures had overlapped, it was she standing under the waterfall.
Oh my god.
And that gave me an idea of how much in emotional distress she was in. It was as if she was standing under the Niagara Fall, standing there directly
Yeah.
under it and not knowing what to
God, for real, how much you can take out of like a drawing. It's crazy.
do. Yeah, and what's been crazy when you look at the drawings, it's not just what's drawn. When people click the snap, a
Yeah.
photograph, we think it's just clicking the photograph. There are
The
sometimes
and
the shadows that get captured on the page has a meaning. There is nothing called an accident. And of the sand play, what I love the most is when you ask them last bit to kind of wrap up the sand and put it back.
yeah,
And they're picking up the things, and you say, oh my God, now this is also picked up. The impression of the chair is left behind. Isn't that how our life is? Even though we picked up certain situations and said, I let go of this boyfriend, I let go of, but the impressions of those people are still left behind.
oh
And
my God, yes,
impressions have a meaning. And then when you're wrapping up the soil, it's like you're literally taking your human body, putting it together, and then putting it back into the box, which is how Hindus actually go away from this world. When they are burnt, they are left as one matka of ash.
yeah,
And even when you try pick every bit of that matka, a part, a grain or two is left behind on the tray.
for sure.
You never completely leave this planet Earth. A part of you will get circulated back again as minerals in the water. You are present somewhere or the other, and then you rotate back in the water, in everything, which is again drunk by everyone. It's amazing when you start looking at the intricacy of life, you understand that life is about meaning, 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 and meaning. The problem is we take out we take out so many meanings that we lose the real essence of it. We stop observing, we start reacting. We are constantly in the course of certain vocabularies that we get fitted into. The other part of subconscious is what people are talking. One of the favorite words that people use. I'm going to the market, right? He did this to me, right? It's as if they need validation every 2 seconds.
So true.
Or they use words like this. You know, I really wanted to do this. I really wanted to buy this, but I couldn't do it, man. You know, he's like this. But I really tried. I really tried. The minute they've used these words, you know that, boss, they're
Transmit.
operating from another zone.
Yeah,
So I just feel if we could be in, the first 1 year of human life, and this often stays with me as to why it is like that. The first 1 year of human life, the child does not talk. Have you ever questioned yourself why?
no,
If the child spoke in the first 1 year, he would not observe anything. There would be no learning because it's only through imitation and observation that you learn. In the first 1 year, the child is constantly observing you from your smell, taste, sound of you, the feel of you, how you touch the child tells him whether you love him, you don't love him, and the programming is going on. It's as if a blank slate is getting conditioned right inside the womb. And to be really honest, for the long time when I started studying, people were talking about blank slate coming out
Yeah.
and then rewriting something on it. But over a period of time, I've realized there was no blank slate because we were writing on that blank slate the minute the child was conceived. And even before the conception, 3 months before the conception, the
Yeah.
child has decided whether she will come or not come.
Wow.
Yes. So, talk about the subconscious. If the mother doesn't have her house of her own, and even if she keeps saying, I want the child, I want the child, I want the child, she doesn't conceive. She does not conceive because she doesn't feel at home in her home. And the uterus is the first home for every living human being. If
So
her
true.
uterus is not comfortable where she is, then she cannot. So our subconscious is always playing up. What we say is from the conscious mind. What is happening in your life is from the subconscious mind.
Completely off topic. I shouldn't interrupt you, but I was just reading. So I just you made me think so much. I'm so sorry.
No
You've
problem.
been like doing a lot of like rape and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
you're saying if someone doesn't feel at home, they can't probably conceive, like most of the times at least. So when someone's raped and they're not happy about it, how is it that they have a child? How is it that they bear a child?
Very good question. I don't know the answer. I'm still searching for it.
I love how you're so frank about it. Yeah.
Searching
Okay, sure. Please go.
for it. And I, to be really honest, have constantly wondered about this.
No, no, no. What I mean to say is like how your face was so like frank, like no, like nothing. Very good question, but I have no answer. That was so cute.
I really don't have an answer. I've been searching for this answer myself as to why that happened.
Okay, wow.
Really,
I like this is actually really interesting. Or I lost you. Sorry.
I said I genuinely don't know the answer, and anything I will be telling you will be a dhap, and I don't like doing that. Okay, the next
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. So what I was gonna ask you after this was, is this applicable to anyone and everyone, or only for those who are experiencing some sort of emotional trauma or stress? But you already answered. Like, but if you have something more, please say.
Yeah. So, in fact, again, it's a very good question because people often think that knowing yourself, getting to know yourself through a counselor or through any kind of intervention is other than satsang means कि आपका दिमाग खराब हो गया है.
Oh my God, this reminds me of that movie, Shah Rukh Khan and Alia Bhatt.
Yeah. So I'm laughing because my students often come back and have referred to that movie. Now,
Oh,
प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हमारा दिमाग हमेशा खराब होता है, which means our mind is constantly going to be like the flame of the candle, which is constantly moving.
wow.
And what our subconscious is doing is trying to stop it from moving that way. It's trying to still it, it's trying to give it a conditioning, it's trying to put it in the box. And in this fight of what it should be and how it should burn versus how it is burning is where we create our conflicts.
Interesting.
Because we have more shoulds in our life than coulds in our life. Mother immediately says before the baby is born, I should have had a baby boy. Then my family would have been more happy. I should have been more careful. And then the things would have been different. I should have married someone else. Then I would have been more happy. When the child is born, you look at her, she should have been more fairer, she should have been more intelligent, she should have been, she should. And then the teachers say, you should have been more disciplined, you should have been more this. We spend more than 20 years of our life learning about somebody's shoulds and fitting into the boxes. The real learning happens when we get out of the learning that we've done in the first 25 years of our life.
Okay.
When you do that is when you realize how driven you are by everybody else other than yourself, including the cultural constraints which you don't even realize. The subconscious programming of yours is stronger than any conscious programming, which means you were an Indian, you are a girl, you're standing somewhere, your body language will tell people from where you are. Your makeup will be different, your clothes will be different, what you eat will be different, what you'll be wearing as a perfume will be different, how you'll talk to someone will be different, how you'll walk will be different. A girl who is more confident, the way she will carry herself versus someone who's not feeling confident. Do we really need to talk to people to get to know whether they are okay or not okay? I mean, come on. I'm sure, Tarini, if you picked up the phone and you spoke to me and I had the same voice and I said to you like this, you will definitely say कि रो रहे
What's
हो क्या? आप ठीक हो क्या? पता लगे I was doing this just to squeeze. We are constantly doing body language. We're constantly trying to understand people. We've become, um, how do you say, human traps which want to understand other people very well. Which
oh my God. Yes.
comes when we understand ourselves. And it's a process. It's a process. I started my education in 2001, 2020. From not believing in God to seeing God everywhere. I'll give you a simple example.
Yeah.
I was questioning myself. How beautiful is the human body? And we talk about people having a backbone. We tell people, hey, come on, grow a backbone. Eyes don't have a bone, heart doesn't have a bone, stomach doesn't have a bone, liver doesn't have a bone, digestive intestine doesn't have a bone, your uterus doesn't have a bone. Why were we telling people to grow a bone? Because these organs are the ones which are running your life, which is only muscle, only muscle, and only muscle. Your brain doesn't have a bone. And it suddenly struck me the way we are looking at strength is different. Your strength does not come from your bone and how many bones you will grow. Your strength comes from how well your internals, which are without the bone, function.
Wow.
We still have the heart in our body, which is caged in the rib cage. If only we could open that rib cage, it becomes the wings of an angel. We still haven't come to the stage where we are ready to open our hearts and ready to be so vulnerable that we didn't need a cage in front of us to hide that heart and to protect it completely.
Are you sure you're not reading off something? I think you should really write a book. So metaphorical, so beautiful, so poetic.
So I find human body extremely beautiful, including the disease names and the names of the organs. Let's look at the word eyes. Let's break that up. E
Yeah.
Y. Let me put it here. It'll be so much easier. You can see it.
Yes.
Ego,
Wow.
emotion, yes.
Wow.
Let's look at another word. This is what fascinates me. I could never spell things properly. I had a learning disability. Couldn't make out
L
left. But then this is what happened.
B1.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how many bones in our
Wow.
206? According
Yeah.
to numerology, 8 is the most tough number, which gives structure and infinity.
Yes.
I'm just fascinated
Wow.
that none of this was by chance. Let's take another word. Spellings are right, spellings are wrong. A storm that creates ache in your body is what causes indigestion, acidity in your body.
Wow.
What I'm trying to talk about is that nothing that's happening around you is by chance. Your body, if you actually sit down and start studying, is one of the most beautiful machine on this planet Earth, which carries emotions right up till the voice has got emotions. You can, from my voice, know whether I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm sleepy, I'm awake, I'm interested, I'm disinterested. I have passion, I don't have passion.
Passion, 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 passion.
Your next question. I think we went every place and walked back.
But wow. I think like I'm like mind blown. Okay, the next one was how do you understand and release the emotion? Something like that. Yeah. How do you understand and release the emotions?
Okay, so um, most of us don't know what's the difference between thought and emotion. Let's play a small game with you.
Okay.
Okay, so right now, what are you feeling?
Awestruck.
Okay, what is the thought when you're feeling awestruck?
I don't know, just like wow, there's so much to discover and so much more to learn in the world. I don't know.
Very good. So when you're thinking there's so much to learn in this world and you're awestruck, what are you feeling?
Happiness?
Now, you know the difference now between the thought and the emotion. Most of the people don't know the difference. They don't know what they're feeling. In fact, you know what's sad, Dharmi? They don't want to know what they're feeling. Most of
That's
us
so
have become like a little child. I'm giving you a story here. A little child is sitting, he's burning his fingers. It's very little, it's just all of 5. Parents left him at home. For some time, he was playing with the matchbox. And the matchbox was lit, and his fingers are burning. And mom and dad walk in, and he's not crying, he's just laughing, looking at his fingers. So
oh
why
my god.
is he laughing? As a rare disease where he cannot feel the pain. But do you know how many of us are running away from pain and hurt? And we become like that little child. We are burning, we are getting exhausted, but we won't stop doing what we are doing, because what we are doing is keeping ourselves busy and running away from showing our vulnerability to anybody. So, emotions are something in motion, something that's constantly moving, something that's never static. We cannot destroy energy, we cannot create energy. We can only transform it from one form to the other. So, if you're happy, the alternate of happiness is, or the flip side is sadness. Why are we giving so much importance to be happy and ignoring the sadness? We are like those shit cakes which have put icing on the top, and we are showing the world the icing, but the smell of the shit is still flavored all over the place.
Instagram.
Yes, absolutely. And we think what people are showing there is the honesty and reality. We are most dishonest, inauthentic, not only to ourselves, but to the whole world. So, the first thing that we need to start doing is first looking at our emotions and understanding them, that they aren't there for just for fun, they aren't there just to make you hurt. Um, and even if you're hurting, what's the big deal? It just means it's time for change, not ignore. We need to stop putting icing on the shit cake. We need to stop putting things under the carpet and creating harmony and saying yes to things that we do not mean to say yes to. So many people have spoiled their lives because they keep saying yes to the shit, and then after 30 years, if you stand up and get up and say, that was shit, you did this to me, has no meaning. It's harder to clean 30-year-old shit. So, I'm really, really grateful that you, as young as you are, because you do look very young, is doing the
I'm
same.
six.
Pardon, you
Yeah.
are?
I said
Oh,
I'm 16.
exactly. So
Yeah.
young. And if children at your age could clean up their shit, do you know how much more space they would create for themselves? So, the first rule of the game, not feeling okay, talk to someone. It was always present, it was always a part of the whole story. Connect with someone who can help you, not someone who can validate you. B, once you connect to people who can help you and give you, navigate you into whatever you are, there are various techniques that can be used. Techniques की कोई कमी नहीं है. Somebody will say Reiki kar lo, somebody will say EFT kar lo, somebody will say Meta kar lo, somebody will say hypnosis kar lo, NLP kar lo. These are just various branches. But you know क्या करना ज़रूरी है? अपने आप से सच बोलना ज़रूरी है. If you are taking all that actions which need therapy and cleaning up, why not do it the right the first time, though there is nothing called right and wrong? When I say right is, why not do things that make you feel good about yourself and make you feel complete? All for that you need to do is learn how to voice things not in an aggressive way, but in a way that can be digested by the other person. Do not throw your shit at the other person, they don't deserve it. Also, sit down and hear people out. I cannot tell you how much of inspiration is there when you just sit down and hear people. Do not take anything for granted and be in gratitude for everything. Even if it means the pain came your way, even if it means your boyfriend threw you out, even if it means you lost all your wealth today, even if it means you went through child abuse. And I'm not talking here from satsang.
Yeah.
Went through sexual abuse at the age of 6. It took me years to scratch and understand it. But believe me, had I not gone through that experience, I would have never known what another kid had gone through. my life would have been very fluffy. So, yes, what happened should have never happened. Am I angry about it? Yes. Did I clean it? Yes. Does the anger return back even today? Yes, it does. I'm a human being. And I celebrate my anger because it makes me alive. But the flip side of it is, because of that, I could work with children who had gone through it. And I could understand them without asking them gory details. I could understand why they could never talk, and I could understand why their parents could never sit down and say to them, you know what, I'm going to hear you out. Because 9 out of 10 children were touched by either their own husbands, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, home people. It was a double trust gone there. The parent didn't know how to deal with that distrust. Just like that, the child did not know how to deal with that distrust. So if we are not honest, we're going to keep the biggest things, that is the shit, the secrets inside us. And then God help you.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing wrong with saying I don't know. But there's everything wrong by saying I know it and I will give you stupid information. And there is a difference between just giving information to experiencing information. You go through,
So true.
your soul goes through your shit to experience the information and then translate it into something meaningful to understand others who are going through that. But you got to understand your pain before anyone else has. You have to be your own Masiha before God comes from somewhere and saves you. And biggest learning during COVID, even the temples shut down, even the masjids shut down.
Yeah.
God doesn't sit inside these temples. He definitely is not in the mosque, because the biggest temple that you have is your body. He sits inside you, and when you have a disease, he's saying, sweetheart, you're not comfortable. Come on, baby, stand up and tell me what's not comfortable. And if you keep hiding and saying, no, I'm comfortable, your symptom will show up. And you will have a tear in your eyes, and you will be standing there and asking someone to save you. This reminds me of a girl called Divya, who was all of your age, had lymphoma, which is cancer or lymphatics. I don't think we could save her. Brilliant child, doing her therapy. She was breathing very heavy. And I said, Divya, she was a outstanding student who always came first in the class, a pride of the school.
Wow.
So said, Divya, that was success. And she says, yes. I said, what makes you feel successful today? She says, if I can breathe properly. Do you know what? If you have to suffer so much to understand that your breath is the most significant part of you being alive, not money,
Yeah.
you'd be far more happier. Disease
So
is
true.
just the consequence of us not being happy and hiding and staying in secrecy and staying inauthentic to ourselves. And that's one of the most toughest things to do. Any other questions?
Sorry, I'm just absorbing. Yeah, but that's crazy. Wow. Yeah. Vasi is also telling me about how you told like things about constipation, diarrhea, eyesight, and all of that. And I was like, yeah. Because I was complaining to her how I have alternating constipation and diarrhea like 4 days and then one day. stories. And then I was like, and she was like, yeah, you have specs also now. Then she was like trying to tell me, and I was like, wait, I don't want to hear what you're saying. It was really fun.
That condition is called irritable bowel syndrome.
Yeah.
Irritable means I'm spending my life with people who I'm irritated with, spending my life in circumstances where I'm irritated. That's the first part. Bowel is the place where your shit is kept. You don't want to dispose of your shit because you're really thinking you're shitty inside and you're irritated because someone has made you feel that shitty inside. 3 days you're in constipation because you're cribbing and you're in stress and say, मैं दिखाऊंगा, I am so angry. But problem is कि ये कुछ दिखाना बाहर होता नहीं है, it's everything inside. Because intestine is in test in INE. So
Sorry. Yeah.
it's a test that happened inside you. It's not
Please take it.
it's not a test that's happening outside you. And the E right at the end is the emotions, the ego that comes in. Then
Wow.
is when you say, oh, actually people are not so bad. Yeah. मैंने कुछ ठीक से नहीं समझा होगा. Loose motions. Then another jhagda in the house, another irritation where you felt like shit. Or let me use the words which probably will fit into uh, the mindset. I felt ugly, I felt invisible, I wasn't important, I felt tarnished, I felt somebody was pointing out and making me feel I wasn't right, was giving me, telling me to do things in a certain way that I didn't want to. Finished triggering. You've already gone to the scene and gone to picked up what it was. Those are the things which are so shitty that you won't even let it go. होता ना बदला रखना है हमको अंदर ऐसा. Body is
Wow.
computer. Just like your computer does not do anything without you putting over there. You say exit, it will exit. You say enter, it will enter. You say copy, it will copy. Like this, your body is doing exactly what your mind is setting it. Your diseases are just telling us what is the programming that you fitted inside your machine.
Wow.
That's it.
You make it sound so simple.
It is that simple.
I bet when you were learning it, it wasn't.
No, it was. It's a long journey. 12 years of constant study. 20 years.
And lots more. Yeah.
Constantly, I've already enrolled for a program on 7th and 8th,
Wow.
which is happening in Germany. During the COVID time, I created a whole group of neurographic paintings, which we've already learned, which help to grow your brain pathways. So, yeah, COVID is not good enough to stop Anu from learning.
So important.
Still learning from people across the world who are the best. Or let me put it like this. Once you're on this journey, the best always come to you because you expected that out of your life. With Tani, this does not mean that there is no flip side to any person and every person, including me. I do get
Yeah.
very negative at times, despite knowing all this.
True. Have to get, otherwise you won't be human.
And when I go that negative, I take help.
Sorry, I lost you.
Will take help at that time.
Yeah.
I will go take a therapy.
Definitely.
It's a time off. मेरा दिमाग खराब हो गया, उसको थोड़ा सा सेटिंग करते हैं, फाइन ट्यून करते हैं, वापस आ जाएंगे. That's very
But like, have you ever like given therapy to yourself?
therapy to yourself. Yes, I have. It doesn't work very well because not a very easy client. I'm really not an easy client. Um, I remember if I go back to 2008, where my story really started with Carl Dawson, who had come to Prague. This is where I used to stay, Czech Republic. And I went for this seminar. There were 40 40 Chesky people there who only understood Czech language. And Carl Dawson was a Brit guy, so he spoke in English. The translator spoke in English, and um, she spoke in Chesky language. And I felt as if the seminar was done for me. And that was the first time I realized I got back my memories of sexual abuse. And we needed four people to hold me down.
Wow.
Yeah, and every time therapy, they needed four people to hold me down. Going back to 2 years back, 2018, when I thought I'd got over it completely, and we had to go for our recertification to UK. This was also the time when my father wasn't well. I think it was 2018, early 18 or end of 2017. And Carl Dawson's sister Caroline started working on me. And I went into deep abstraction in a way that I never realized that I still carrying part of. I never knew it was so deep. I never thought it was so deep. I never could count the number of scars it left in my psyche because I thought there were none. But that's what it is. Just because we are functioning at the optimum level does not mean that we are fine. And I wouldn't then sit down and do my own work. I'd rather ask someone else because जो दूसरे को नजर आएगा मुझको नजर आएगा ही नहीं because my subconscious level will try to protect me all the time.
So true.
Subconscious is very interesting. It will only come up with the issues when it knows that it's in front of a person who can help it. Till then, your subconscious is doing everything to protect you. Everything, 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 everything. And if you really want to get well, like well means being happy, and happy means lucky, hap word means lucky. Ness means the smell. Happiness actually means the smell of being lucky.
Wow.
If you want to really feel like you have the fragrance around you of being lucky, then you really need to look at yourself. That's the first L. Look at you and see keenly what's going on internally without making meanings. Just unapologetic you. I don't think there are any bad children or there are any um, anybody who's a defective piece around in this world, including in mental asylums. I just think we have tons and tons of unloved, misunderstood people. We got
So
love,
true.
we got love, but in a way that people loved us was their way of loving us. It wasn't the way we wanted to be loved.
Or our way of being loved. Yeah. Very interesting way to put it.
Yeah. For me, love would probably be captured with probably just holding someone's hand and knowing that there is trust in that hand. That, or just sitting down and having a cup of coffee with someone and can just sit down and laugh and smile and crack jokes on sex without someone flipping their eyelid and saying, "Oh my God, what you talking about?"
Taboo words.
Yeah, yeah, all taboo words.
Crazy.
We can do it. We can't talk it. We can go kill children. We can't talk it. We can go and fuck around with 2-year-old babies and we can't say sex. Is this our sabhyata?
Yeah.
Sorry, boss, I don't agree with it. I'd rather say sex and not do it. Do something horrendous to another person. I'd rather make love, not sex.
So
And I
no, it's so true.
think
Yeah.
we made love. I think we made sex. I don't think we made children. I think we made duties and responsibilities. We are the most inauthentic race on this planet Earth, and that's why we're suffering from so many diseases. The day we live our authentic self, of what we were created to be, there would not be disease around on the globe.
That's so true.
We live to make people happy, and who is happy, God knows. I don't know who's happy, Tarini. I don't see happy people around. I see, if in last 10 minutes and I have to go, I see people in a very, I see people living their age, creating an age with that age. I see people showing a face to the world, but to the people who they should show love, they show their anger. And
Yes.
who did nothing for you and do not deserve any of your love, really. You show your best foot forward for them and the best face forward for them. Sorry, there's no Instagram for home, there's no Facebook for home because people do not anymore sit down and ask each other how you are. I don't. And during the COVID, people actually sat in the house in different rooms, making that an office. They all worried because they had a face to show in the world, and the face was one of not being a loser. हमसे बड़ा हिपोक्रेट कौन होगा? खाना बाहर खा के हमको पसंद है, घर के लोगों का खाना हमको पसंद नहीं. पिज्जा आ गया तो अच्छा है. Nothing wrong with that. But we are living in a virtual world, and today more than anything else, the last bit that I would like to really say is, for many years I used to say this: we are wearing a mask. In fact, I remember a program where I don't know what got over me. I think the drama queen got over me. I actually carried a mask and put it in front of my face. It was a talk. They invited me to do a talk. I carried. And then I said, if I remove this mask and show myself to you, would you even recognize me, who I am? Because you don't want to see this one. You want to see this one. But little did I realize that we would actually be wearing a mask on our face, a real material mask.
So true.
Today we cannot, and the one place which has been maximum used for lies is our mouth, which actually God has made sure, or COVID has made sure, that's covered up completely till here.
Wow. You really have a different perspective for things. Wow. That's crazy.
It's a manifestation of our own brain. If
Yeah.
we could fly up in the sky and reach the other side of the world and take that for granted, then why aren't we are taking the mask for granted? Are we taking so many other things for granted? We are the same people who are capable of flying up in the sky, where we could make the air which was invisible hold us. But we haven't still come up with the recipe of how to hold our family members and hold ourselves together.
True.
Yeah. And
I
that's
think I'm taking up too much of your time.
no. I just need to go in next 5 minutes because I
Please
need
go,
to
yeah.
go for a consult. Yeah. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed that. If there are any other questions, do write them back,
My
please.
God, enjoy new level. Thank you so much. It was like a privilege and honor, everything talking to you. Wow.
Thank you. You make me feel very special. I've never looked at myself
You
like.
still feel special. You're like, I'm sorry, I don't have words. I'm still like absorbing, digesting everything you said. I cannot wait for tomorrow.
Thank you, Tarni. 6:30, you said. Is a
Yes.
formal dress required? What kind of
Pardon?
what kind of outfit would be good to wear?
You be you. I think that's okay.
Me, then तो बस ठीक है.
Pajamas.
I नहीं देता. I'll give you a simple thing. My daughter laughed and told my mother, "मम नानी ये पता क्या करती है? जूम से पहले इसने ट्रैपी कपड़े पहने होते हैं. जूम के टाइम पे एक चुन्नी डालती है ऊपर और बैठ जाती है. किसी को नहीं पता नीचे क्या. सी यार इसके ऊपर कोट डाल नॉर्मल हो गया. So fast to get zoom.
So true.
Bye bye big hug.
So true.
Thank you so much.
Thank,
Bye bye
thank you so much. Bye. See you tomorrow.
tomorrow.